The cold doctor who swore he'd never love again. Until the black nurse. Dr. Jisoo walked through the bright hospital hallway with a face that looked like frozen stone. Everyone knew him as the doctor who never smiled, never laughed, never talked more than he needed to. His footsteps were sharp and fast, like he wanted the world to stay far behind him. The nurses whispered whenever he passed. He's so cold. He never cares. He doesn't let anyone close. But no one knew the truth. Dr. Jisoo once loved deeply, so deeply it shattered him when the person he loved died right in his arms. Since then, he locked his heart like a steel door with no key. That morning, as he checked his patient list, the head nurse walked up to him. "Doctor, you'll have a new partner today." A nurse transferred from another hospital. "I don't need a partner," Jisoo said without looking up. "It's not a request," she answered and walked off. Jisoo sighed and opened the door to his first patient room. And froze. A girl was already inside. A black nurse with warm brown skin, bright eyes, and a smile gentle enough to melt ice. She looked up at him. "You must be Dr. Jisoo," she said softly. "I'm Emily." Jisoo blinked. Something about her voice made the air feel different, lighter. "I didn't ask for help," he said, turning away. "I know," Emily replied, still smiling. "But I'm here anyway." He didn't know why, but her smile made his heart move a small shake, like a locked door hearing a knock for the first time in years. He quickly pushed the feeling away. He didn't do feelings. Not anymore. But Emily. Emily looked like someone who wouldn't let a closed door stay closed for long. Emily knew on the first day that Dr. Jisoo didn't want her there. She saw how his jaw tightened when she entered a room, how he ignored her questions, how he spoke only when necessary. But she also noticed something others didn't. Behind his cold face, behind the silence, there was pain, a deep pain hiding like a shadow. She didn't fear him. She didn't avoid him. She simply stayed beside him. That morning, they entered a patient's room together. A little boy named Miho lay in bed, shaking with fear at the sight of needles. "I don't want the injection," Miho whispered, eyes filling with tears. Dr. Jisoo sighed. "Miho, if you want to get better." The boy shook his head and hid under the blanket. Before Jisoo could speak again, Emily knelt beside the bed. "Miho," she said gently, "can I tell you a secret?" The boy peeked out. "What secret?" Emily smiled. "When I was your age, I was scared of needles too. Very scared. But I learned a trick. Want to hear it?" Miho nodded. Emily took his small hand. "When the needle comes close, squeeze my hand and think of your favorite thing in the world." The boy took a deep breath. "My puppy." "Good," she said. "Now hold my hand." Jisoo watched silently as Emily guided the boy, speaking softly, her voice warm like sunlight. Miho didn't cry. He squeezed her hand, closed his eyes, and the injection was done in seconds. Miho looked up. "It didn't hurt." Emily winked. "Told you. Your puppy protected you." As they left the room, Jisoo stopped walking. "How did you do that?" he asked quietly. Emily looked at him with calm eyes. "Children don't just need medicine," she said. "They need heart." For a second, a very tiny second, Jisoo felt something move in his chest. Something warm. Something he didn't allow himself to feel. "Let's continue the rounds," he said quickly, hiding that small spark. But Emily had already seen it. Jisoo tried everything to keep his distance. He kept conversations short. He walked faster. He avoided looking at Emily's bright eyes or warm smile. But no matter what he did, she always managed to be right beside him. If he moved left, she was there handing him a chart. If he moved right, she was there calming a patient. It was almost annoying. Almost. But what bothered him more was how the hospital began changing because of her. Emily brought laughter to the pediatric ward. She sang small songs while changing dressings. She told silly jokes that made even the grumpy old patients smile. She comforted nurses who had bad days and encouraged interns who felt lost. She brightened everything she touched. And somehow, without meaning to, she brightened him too. One afternoon, after a long surgery, Jisoo finally sat down in the staff room. His shoulders were tense, eyes tired. Emily walked in, saw him, and placed a warm cup of tea in front of him. "I don't drink tea," he muttered. "But your hands are shaking," she replied softly. "So drink it anyway." Jisoo froze. He didn't realize his hands were shaking. He stared at the tea, then at her. "Why do you care?" Her answer came easily, like it lived inside her heart. "Because you look like no one has cared for you in a very long time." Her words hit him like a quiet explosion. He looked away quickly. "You don't know anything about me." Emily nodded. "Yet?" He swallowed hard. Her presence felt too close, too warm, too dangerous. So he stood up and walked out without touching the tea. But later, when Emily wasn't looking, he came back, picked up the cup, and drank it slowly. Every drop felt like melting snow inside him. The next morning, the hospital buzzed with noise. A big emergency case was coming in, a car accident victim with severe injuries. Doctors rushed everywhere, nurses prepared equipment, alarms beeped loudly. Emily followed Dr. Jisoo into the emergency room. She had never seen him move so fast. His cold expression disappeared, replaced by sharp focus. "Emily, hand me the oxygen mask." "Got it." "Start the 4. "Already on it." For the first time, they worked like a perfect team, smooth, quick, powerful. But halfway through the procedure, the patient's heart monitor flatlined. Beep, beep, beep. The room tensed. Jisoo's face hardened. "Prepare for CPR." Emily's hands trembled. She wasn't scared often, but something about this patient felt different. She whispered, "Please hold on." Jisoo placed his hands on the patient's chest and started pressing. "Come on," he muttered. "Don't give up." Minutes felt like hours. The monitor stayed flat. Emily swallowed hard, tears forming. "Please fight." Then, beep, beep, beep. The heartbeat came back. The room exhaled. Jisoo stepped back, breathing heavily, sweat dripping down his forehead. Emily looked at him, not the cold doctor, but the man who just fought to save a stranger with everything he had. "You care more than you pretend," she whispered. Jisoo froze. Emily's eyes were soft, knowing, almost reaching into the part of him he kept locked away. He turned away. "Don't try to understand me." "I already do," she said gently. Her voice shook him. She wasn't afraid of him. She wasn't fooled by his walls. She saw the man behind them. And for the first time in years, Jisoo felt fear. Not fear of patients dying. Not fear of failing. Fear of someone getting close. Emily didn't push him. She didn't ask questions. She didn't force him to talk. Instead, she simply stayed near, quiet, steady, warm, like a small light glowing in a dark room. But Jisoo couldn't ignore her forever. Not when her presence kept slipping into his thoughts. Not when her laugh kept echoing in his mind. Not when her kindness kept softening the places he tried to keep frozen. That evening, after a long shift, Emily walked to the hospital garden. It was silent, filled with little lanterns and soft wind. She liked sitting there to breathe after hard days. She didn't expect anyone else to come, especially not him. But Jisoo stepped into the garden, his expression unreadable. Emily looked up. "Dr. Jisoo?" He approached slowly, hands in his pockets. "You weren't in the staff room." Emily smiled. "Needed fresh air." He nodded, but he didn't leave. He stayed there, standing awkwardly beside the bench. Emily scooted over. "You can sit with me." "I'm fine standing." "You're tired," she said simply. He hesitated. Then, surprising even himself, he sat. The wind brushed past them. For a minute, neither spoke. Then Jisoo said quietly, "Why did you come to this hospital?" Emily smiled gently. "Because I wanted to help people who feel alone." Jisoo's heartbeat stumbled. "Why?" "Because I was once alone too," she said, her voice softening. "And one person's kindness changed everything for me. Now I want to be that person for others." Jisoo looked at her fully for the first time. Really looked. Her eyes held truth, warmth, and a strength he didn't expect. Something inside him trembled. A memory. A wound. A door unlocking a little. He stood suddenly, unable to sit any longer. "I should go." Emily nodded with understanding. "Good night, Dr. Jisoo." As he walked away, Jisoo touched his chest. His heart. It was beating differently tonight. The next day started quietly, but inside Dr. Jisoo, nothing felt quiet at all. He walked through the hallways with his usual cold face, but his heart kept replaying last night in the garden, Emily's voice, her calmness, her story, her warmth. It bothered him. It confused him. It scared him. But he didn't want to think about it. So he pushed it away and focused on his patients. When he entered the first room, he found Emily already there, helping an elderly woman sit up in bed. "There you go, Halmiani," Emily said softly. "Nice and easy." The old woman smiled at her. "You are very sweet. Like sunshine." Emily laughed. "Then you must be the morning sky." Jisoo stood at the door, watching. She didn't even see him come in. And something strange twisted inside him. A feeling like he didn't want anyone else to see her smile like that. He shook his head sharply. What was that? He didn't get jealous. He didn't get anything. Emily turned and finally noticed him. "Oh, good morning, Dr. Jisoo." Her smile hit him like warm air. He looked away quickly. "We need to check the next patient." Emily nodded and followed him out. But as they walked, she noticed something different. He kept glancing at her, very fast, very small, but she saw it. At one point, she stopped walking. "Is something wrong?" Jisoo froze. "No." "Are you sure?" she asked gently. "You seem distracted." He didn't reply. He couldn't reply. Emily smiled softly. "It's okay. You don't have to tell me anything yet." "Yet?" That word again. She always said it like she believed he would open up someday. And somehow, deep inside, Jisoo felt that she might be right. And that terrified him more than anything. Later that afternoon, the hospital was peaceful. Nurses walked quietly. Patients rested. The sun shined softly through the windows. Jisoo and Emily stood together preparing medication trays. Emily hummed a small tune while working, a soft, sweet sound that made the room feel alive. Jisoo tried to ignore it. He tried very hard. But finally he said, "You sing a lot." Emily looked up. "Does it bother you?" His eyes widened. "No. I mean," she smiled. "It helps me stay calm." Jisoo didn't understand. "You always look calm." Emily laughed softly. Looking calm and being calm are different things. He paused. He knew that feeling too well. He looked calm on the outside, but inside he was a storm. Unexpectedly, a young intern rushed into the room. "Doctor, Nurse Emily, we need help in the East Wing." A patient collapsed. Jisoo and Emily dropped everything and ran. When they reached the room, an old man lay on the floor, struggling to breathe. "Emily, get the oxygen tank," Jisoo ordered. "On it." They worked fast, quicker than anyone else in the room. Emily lifted the man's head gently, whispering comforting words. Jisoo checked his pulse, started stabilizing him, directing everyone with sharp, clean commands. But suddenly, the man grabbed Emily's wrist, terrified. "Don't leave me, please." Emily squeezed his hand. "I'm right here. I won't go." The old man's breathing slowly steadied. His grip loosened. He calmed down. Because of Emily. When it was over, the staff clapped quietly for Emily's calm bravery. But Jisoo didn't clap. He just stared at her. Longer than he should have. Longer than he ever stared at anyone. Emily turned and met his eyes. And for a moment, the world felt quiet. Still. Safe. Then someone called her name, and she walked away. Jisoo exhaled slowly. His heart was not supposed to do this. Not again. Not for anyone. But it was happening. That night, Jisoo stayed late to finish paperwork. The hospital felt different at night, quiet, almost peaceful. He liked it because nobody bothered him, nobody asked questions, nobody expected him to smile. But tonight he wasn't alone. Emily walked into the office carrying 2 lunchboxes. "I made dinner," she said. "You haven't eaten yet, right?" Jisoo blinked. "I didn't ask for food." Emily smiled. "I know. I brought it because you need it." She placed one box in front of him. He stared at it like it was a puzzle. "You cooked this?" "Yes." He opened the box slowly. Warm rice. Chicken. Vegetables. Simple. Comforting. Emily opened her own and sat beside him. "Eat with me," she said cheerfully. He hesitated. But then, he picked up the chopsticks. Emily watched him take a bite. Well, he froze. The flavor hit him warm, soft, gentle. Almost like someone caring for him. He swallowed. "It's good," he said quietly. Emily laughed lightly. "Thank you." They ate together in silence, but it wasn't awkward. It felt like something new. Something peaceful. At one point, Emily looked at him seriously. "Jisoo, why do you act like you don't deserve kindness?" He stopped chewing. His chest tightened. "I don't know what you're talking about." Emily shook her head softly. "You do." He looked away. His hands felt cold again. Emily placed her hand gently on his. Her touch was warm, too warm for a man who lived in ice. "If someone hurt you, you don't have to face it alone." He pulled his hand back quickly. "I don't need help." But his voice cracked. Just a little. Just enough for Emily to hear the truth inside it. She didn't push him. She closed her lunchbox and stood. "Good night, Jisoo." When she left, he stared at the food, unable to breathe normally. Her warmth was getting too close. Too close to the wound he never healed. The next morning, something unexpected happened. Emily didn't come to work. Jisoo walked into the hallway, ready to begin his rounds, but her spot was empty. The chart she usually carried was still on the desk. Her bag wasn't in its usual place. The head nurse walked by. Jisoo stopped her. "Where is Nurse Emily?" "Oh, she called in sick today." "Fever." Jisoo froze. "Sick? Emily?" Something strange hit him. Worry. Strong, sharp worry. He didn't like it. He didn't want it. But it was there, sitting in his chest like a heavy stone. All day, he found himself looking for her. In the halls. In the patient rooms. In the garden. She wasn't there. And everything felt wrong. During lunchtime, he sat in the staff room staring at the empty chair across from him. The place where she usually sat, laughing, talking, bringing color into the room. He remembered her warm smile. Her gentle hands. Her comforting voice. Her laughter. And suddenly something terrifying hit him. He missed her. Deeply. At the end of his shift, Jisoo did something he never imagined he would do. He grabbed his coat. He left the hospital. He took a taxi. And he went to Emily's apartment. When she opened the door, she looked surprised. Her hair was messy. Her cheeks were warm from fever. Her voice was soft and weak. "Dr. Jisoo?" He stared at her, unable to speak. She blinked slowly. "Did something happen?" He swallowed. "You didn't come to work." Emily gave a tiny smile. "You came to check on me?" His heart jumped. He didn't plan to say yes. He didn't plan to say anything. But the truth slipped out. "Yes." And Emily. Emily's smile warmed the whole doorway. "Come in," she whispered. And he did. Emily's apartment was small but warm, filled with soft colors and little decorations that felt alive. Jisoo stepped in slowly, unsure of where to look. He had never been inside a coworker's home, especially not someone who made his heart behave strangely. Emily wrapped a blanket around herself and sat on the couch. "Sorry. I look crazy right now." "You look fine," he said quickly. Emily laughed weakly. "Wow. A compliment from Dr. Ice himself." He looked away, flustered. "I'm not Ice." She smiled gently. "You used to be." He sat on the chair across from her. "You should be resting," he said. "I will. I just didn't expect you to show up." Jisoo didn't know what to do with his hands. He kept clenching and unclenching them. "I brought medicine," he said finally, pulling it from his pocket. Emily's eyes softened. "You bought medicine for me?" "I'm a doctor." "You bought it after work." He looked away. "Yes." Emily's smile grew brighter. "Thank you, Jisoo." Hearing his name in her soft voice felt like something unlocking inside him. He handed her the medicine and watched as she took it. Then she leaned back, tired, eyes half closed. "You don't have to stay," she whispered. "But I'm happy you came." Jisoo's heart tightened. He didn't know how to leave. He didn't know how to stay. But he knew one thing. He didn't want to walk away. So he sat there, quiet, still, watching over her as she slowly drifted to sleep. Her breathing was soft, her face calm. She looked peaceful. And in that peaceful silence, Jisoo realized something terrifying and true. Emily wasn't just warming his heart. She was waking it up. He stayed until she fell into deep sleep, then stood and gently covered her with the blanket. His fingers brushed her forehead. She felt warm, alive. And for the first time in many years, Jisoo whispered softly, "Get well soon, Emily." He left quietly, but the warmth he felt didn't leave with him. Emily returned to work 2 days later, feeling better and full of energy again. The moment she stepped into the hospital, everyone cheered and hugged her, everyone except Jisoo, who stood at the end of the hallway pretending he wasn't waiting. But he was. He had been waiting since morning. Since yesterday. Since she left. Emily spotted him and waved happily. "Good morning, Dr. Jisoo." He froze. Her voice sounded too bright, too warm, too dangerous. "You shouldn't be here yet," he said. "You're still recovering." Emily laughed. "My fever is gone. I'm fine. You should rest one more day." "Are you worried about me?" she teased. Jisoo looked away. "No," but his ears turned a little red. Emily stepped closer, looking into his eyes. "Thank you for checking on me." Jisoo felt his heart stumble. He had tried to forget that night. He had tried to push the feelings down. But every time Emily smiled, they returned stronger. She didn't know the battle happening inside him. The one where his heart kept pulling him forward. And his fear kept dragging him back. By lunchtime, he couldn't focus on anything. He made mistakes writing reports. He nearly bumped into a nurse. He kept staring at Emily from across the room. He didn't understand this. He didn't want this. But he couldn't stop it. At the end of the day, he avoided her completely. He walked fast, took different hallways, stayed in the staff room longer than needed. Emily found him eventually. He was sitting alone in the garden, staring at the floor like it held all the answers he couldn't find. "Jisoo," she asked softly. He flinched. He hadn't heard her come in. She sat beside him. "You're acting strange. Did I do something wrong?" He clenched his fists. "No, you didn't." "Then what's happening?" she whispered. Jisoo didn't answer. Because the answer was sitting right in front of him. Her. Emily watched him quietly. She could feel something heavy inside him, like a secret fighting to break free but too scared to escape. "Jisoo," she said softly, "you can talk to me." He shook his head. "No, I can't." "Why not?" "Because you won't understand." Emily's voice grew gentle. "Try me." Jisoo stood up suddenly, pacing. He ran a hand through his hair, breathing hard. Why couldn't he control this? Why couldn't he stay calm around her? Why did she make every wall he built feel weak? Emily approached him slowly. "Jisoo, please. I can see you're hurting." He turned away. "You don't know what I've been through." "Then tell me." "I can't." "Why?" He shouted not at her, but at the air, at his fear, at his heart. "Because I don't want to feel this again." Emily froze. Her eyes softened. "What are you scared of feeling?" Jisoo's breath shook. He closed his eyes tightly. "This," he whispered. "This thing that happens inside me when I look at you." Emily's lips parted slightly. Her heartbeat quickened. Jisoo stepped back, terrified of his own words. "I shouldn't have said that." "Jisoo." "No," his voice cracked. "I can't let this happen. I can't fall again. Last time I lost everything." Emily understood. Without him saying it, she understood. And she took one small step toward him. "Jisoo, I'm not here to replace anyone you lost." He swallowed hard, eyes shaking. "I'm here because you deserve to live again." Her words hit him like a soft storm, quiet, but powerful enough to shake every wall in his heart. He didn't know how to move. He didn't know how to breathe. Emily whispered, "You're not broken, Jisoo. You're scared. And that's okay." He felt tears burn his eyes. Tears he hadn't allowed himself to feel in years. Emily reached out and touched his hand, a tiny touch that made everything inside him tremble. And for the first time, Jisoo didn't pull away. The days that followed were confusing for both of them. Jisoo tried to act normal, cold, quiet, distant. But every time Emily looked at him, he felt something inside him melt. Emily wasn't pushy. She wasn't loud. She wasn't trying to change him. She just stayed near. Soft. Steady. Warm. And he found himself searching for her without meaning to. Where was she on break? Was she eating lunch? Was she talking to someone else? Was she smiling at someone else? Every time he didn't see her, his heart dropped. Every time he did see her, his heart raced. One afternoon, Emily entered a patient's room to find Jisoo already there, but something felt off. He was quiet, not cold quiet, but lost quiet. Like his thoughts were too heavy. "Jisoo," she whispered, "are you okay?" He didn't answer. He didn't even look up. Emily stepped closer. "What's wrong?" Finally, he spoke in a low voice. "I don't know what's happening to me." Emily sat beside him. "You're feeling something new. Something you didn't expect." He nodded slowly. "It hurts." Emily blinked. "Your feelings hurt?" "No." He touched his chest lightly. "This." His heart. "It feels like too much." Emily's expression softened. "That's what happens when you start caring for someone." His head shot up. He stared at her wide-eyed, scared, exposed. "I don't want to care," he whispered. "But I do." Emily's breath caught. Silence wrapped around them, heavy and warm. "Jisoo," she whispered, "you're allowed to care. You're allowed to feel." He shook his head. "I'm not strong enough to lose someone again." Emily gently took his hand. "You won't lose me." He stared at their hands, her small warm hand holding his colder, trembling one. And he knew. He was falling. Not slowly. Not gently. But deeply, helplessly, dangerously. And he didn't know how to stop. That night, Jisoo couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, replaying every moment, her smile, her touch, her voice. He pressed a hand to his forehead. "This is getting out of control." He sat up and ran both hands through his hair. His heart kept pulling him toward her like a magnet he couldn't break. He tried to bury the feelings. He tried to push them down. But Emily wasn't something he could hide from. She lived in his thoughts now. By morning, he was exhausted. At work, he walked into the break room and found Emily alone, pouring tea. She noticed how tired he looked. "Oh my. Jisoo, did you sleep at all?" He didn't answer. He just stared at her. Emily stepped closer. "Talk to me." He breathed shakily. "I don't know how." "Yes, you do," she whispered. "You just don't want to." He exhaled sharply. "You make everything complicated." Emily smiled sadly. "Or maybe I make everything honest." Jisoo leaned against the counter, eyes closing. "I don't know what to do with these feelings." "You don't have to do anything yet," Emily said softly. "Just let yourself feel them." "I can't." "Why?" "Because if I let myself, I won't be able to stop." Emily took a bold step toward him. "Maybe you don't need to stop." Jisoo opened his eyes and looked at her. Really looked at her. Her brown eyes shining gently. Her soft breath. Her calmness. Her strength. Everything inside him cracked open. "Emily," he whispered. "I'm scared." She touched his cheek lightly. "It's okay to be scared of love. It means it matters." He leaned into her touch without meaning to. And that tiny movement told her everything she needed to know. Jisoo loved her, even if he wasn't ready to admit it. Yet, then on one rainy night, the kind of night where the sky cried heavy and the wind whispered secrets, Emily was finishing a late shift when the power flickered. The hallways went dim. Thunder rolled through the sky. She wasn't scared, until she walked outside and saw Jisoo standing under the rain, soaked, staring at the ground like he was fighting the biggest battle of his life. "Jisoo," she called, running to him. "You'll get sick, come inside." He didn't move. He didn't even blink. Emily grabbed his arm. "Jisoo, what are you doing out here?" He looked at her with eyes full of storms, full of fear, full of feelings he couldn't hide anymore. "I tried to stop it," he whispered. Emily froze. "Stop what?" Jisoo stepped closer. Rain dripped from his hair. His voice cracked with every word. "My heart." Emily's breath caught. He shook his head helplessly. "I tried not to feel anything. I tried not to care. I tried to push you away." Emily swallowed hard. Why? Because I was scared. His voice shook. I was scared of losing someone again. Scared of loving again. Scared of breaking again. He took her hands. Both of them. Pulling her into the storm with him. But every day you made my heart wake up. And I couldn't stop it. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Jisoo. He stepped even closer. His forehead touched hers. His voice dropped to a trembling whisper. I'm in love with you, Emily. The world stopped. The rain softened. Everything went quiet. I tried not to be, he whispered. But I am. Emily squeezed his hands gently. I told myself I would never love again, he continued. I told myself love was too painful, too dangerous. But then you came. Emily, you made my frozen heart feel warm for the first time in so many years. Her eyes watered. You changed everything, Minjun whispered. You made me feel alive. You made me smile again. You made me want to hope. I don't know how you did it, but you healed me. He took a slow step closer, gently touching her hands. I love you, Emily. I love you more than I ever thought I could love anyone. And I'm not scared anymore, not when I'm with you. A tear rolled down her cheek, and she held his hands tightly. Minjun, you don't have to be scared, she whispered. Because I'm here. And I'm not leaving. His breath trembled with relief. She continued, voice shaking, I love you too. I didn't want to say it before, because I didn't want to break your heart. But I love you. With everything in me. Minjun closed his eyes for a moment, like he was thanking the universe. Then he pulled her gently into his arms. They stayed like that, wrapped in a quiet hug that felt like home. Doctors and nurses who walked past smiled softly. Everyone could see it. The cold doctor had melted, and the bright nurse had become his warmth. When they finally stepped back, Emily giggled. What now? Minjun smiled, a real smile this time, soft and full of love. Now, he said, now we start a new story, together. Their fingers intertwined, and they walked down the hallway side by side. Two hearts that were once far apart, now beating in the same rhythm. And for the first time in a long time, Minjun finally felt something he thought he lost forever. Peace. Hope. Love. Emily had given all of it back to him, beautifully. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share with friends and loved ones, and subscribe for more.